Hey guys, what's up? It's FiyaBomb. You guys are tuning into the Rejuv'Nation. Hey guys, what's up? It's FiyaBomb. You're tuning into the RejuvNation Podcast, hosted by Timeless Trail.
All right, y'all. We here. I be coming in super mellow with the intros now, but like, all right, y'all. But you're tuned to the RejuvNation Podcast, hosted by your boy Timeless Trail, and we have the one and only FiyaBomb today.
Hello.
With
Hi.
special guest Bowie. We here. He gets a shout out too. You feel what I'm saying? So,
Babe, come over here. Come over here. Bowie, come here. Come here. No?
nah, let him chill. He good.
Okay.
Colin, you on Uncle duty today. All right. But thank you for stopping by. I really appreciate it. I know we've had a conversation already before, but I feel like you've done so much other things and you've become such a different person that I want the world to see it as well. So,
thank you. Thank you for having me. It was like a couple years ago, I think, the last time that I was on a show with you.
Yeah, for sure. But how are you doing? Like, how's everything? Like, what have you been up to?
Everything is good. I just moved. I just relocated to a different location in Connecticut, and I'm really happy about that. Okay. It's a bigger space. I actually got the space for me and my dog.
Okay, yeah.
So, and my new dog, my new puppy.
Well, let's talk about that. Let's talk before you jump into all like the. Let's talk about the motherhood side. Like, what made you want to get a dog?
Example: this is the motherhood side. Bowie, you leave Colin alone right now. Leave him alone.
Feel it on my heart. Stop it.
Colin, if you pay him no mind, he won't cheat on you.
You heard Colin? Don't pay him no mind. He'll leave you alone.
Bowie, come here now.
Give me that water bottle.
Or do you want me to slap you? Like, kidding.
Shoot.
That's the mother in that. Bowie. There you go. Yep, that's what you gotta do.
There we go.
Because then he's like left confused.
Right. So
okay.
let's talk about the wanting to get a dog and the mother, because this is really being a parent. So.
You know what? Like, it's crazy because the thing is, I feel like I was like the last person to get a dog with the schedule that I have. And it was one of those things where it was my sister's birthday. We went to the mall. I was like treating my sister like to whatever she wanted to buy in the mall. And like, she was just like, oh, let's go to this pet store. Like, let's like, hang out and just like pet a couple dogs, whatever.
Right.
And for a long time, I've actually always wanted a big dog. And I went in there and I had an intent to just like look at a Australian Shepherd.
Yeah.
Because I just think they're beautiful.
Right.
And then I was playing with one and I didn't like her at all. I was just like, oh my God, you're like already biting me, scratching me. I could just see how this is gonna go.
Yeah.
I don't want this.
Right.
So I saw him, and then like he was looking at me too. I saw him, and I was just like, "Oh, okay, you're like really calm." He was in the cage with his sister,
right?
And he was really calm. And then I was just like, you know what? Okay, what's it called? I'm just gonna like play with you. And when I like had him in the cubicle with me, like he was just like really quiet.
Yeah.
And like he wasn't crying. He was just like he kind of clung on to me, and I'm like, oh, you're really sweet.
Yeah.
3 hours later, I decided to buy him.
Are we going? This is
oh my God! And he was one, like at first when I decided to buy him too, I was just like, I'm not gonna even lie. I was just like, what the hell are you doing?
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing? Like, you're about to buy a dog, like. You don't even know anything about this breed.
Right.
Because, and I was reading about it. There's just, like, there's a lot of things that you need to know about a husky.
Right.
And he was expensive. And I was just like, okay. Like,
well, I think one thing I like to talk about and I like to touch base with is when you do something, like, off the fly like that, it's always for a bigger purpose, right? And I feel like when we have, like, impulses, granted, like, we don't always make the best decisions, but it was something that made you feel that to buy him. And I feel like he's going to just open up your mind to so much different things.
He has.
Right.
And I honestly think this is what it is. With the lifestyle that I live and like the schedule that I have right now, I am a freelance artist, so I get to work whenever I want at any hour. Like, and I feel like with that kind of schedule, I didn't have a lot of balance.
Right.
And I used to like just like pray to God for more structure. And then I just feel like, boom,
he
gave me a dog, and I'm here. And I used to be the type of person where, I would go to sleep late. Because I would produce my work late and wake up late.
Right.
Now I wake up every single morning at 7 a.m. and it's to walk him.
Yeah.
And I don't even know. I can't even tell you like for how long it's been that I've never seen morning like that.
Yeah.
But now I see morning, and I still go to bed late.
Right.
But I'm just like, wow, this is okay. You're getting me ready for something.
Right. It's just about, and I feel like you can take that and translate it to like life, like especially like the career path that we're trying to pursue. Like there's always something that just gets thrown in there, and you just kind of got to adapt with it if that's what you want and make do. Right. So let's talk about it. Let's talk about how how Olivia became FiyaBomb.
So like there's so many different routes that I can answer like this question because one, I've always been an artist since I was young.
Mm-hmm.
I've always been like a little doodler, a drawer, an illustrator. And then when I got into college, after I graduated, I taught myself how to paint.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like when people always ask where did the name FiyaBomb came from, it was just one, the name FiyaBomb is actually from a song.
Okay.
The song is actually called FiyaBomb.
Okay.
It's a song from Rihanna.
Okay.
And it's on her Rated R album.
Okay.
When I was in college at CCSU, I was dating a guy. We dated for about 2.5 years, and it didn't work out between us. We were in it was a very domestic, violent relationship. It was very physical. And during the time that I was dating him, I used to like not talk about this either. It was like a hard time to talk about where FiyaBomb came from, but I'm straight now. But when we were dating each other during that time, I didn't produce work. I didn't produce art, which is very unlike me because I was an art major. Right. But in the meantime, what I would do is I was just covering all my general courses. I was just taking all my core like prerequisites and not taking my art classes. So.
Sorry, not to even go on the side. You jump right back, but before we started recording, she said as soon as he realizes that we're not paying attention, he's gonna go straight to sleep. And look at that. Okay, I'm sorry. Continue. Sorry.
No, it's cool. It's cool. So during that time, like our relationship, it was like one of those just like really premature relationships where it's just like we were young and like he didn't know where his life was going. I didn't know where my life was going. And you go through the occasional, I don't trust you. You give me trust issues. Right. He cheated on me, and then it became really physical. The day that it became physical, like I remember, it was just like I felt like if I didn't have the people that were there, which was my brother and his boyfriend, if I didn't like have them hold me and him back, we would have killed each other. Yeah. It was like one of those things, like, like when people fight, you don't fight until you're done fighting. Right. You fight until the other person can't. Right. Yeah. Exactly. So it was like that, and it ended, and that's how it ended. The next day, I just wanted to start my life over, and I kind of, even when I think about it to this day, it's like it's hard to think that it had to end that way. Right. Like so poorly. But the next day I just said that I wanted to start my life over, and I went back to school. I registered for my art classes. I got on Dean's List. I excelled in all of my art classes. Like my professors, they just thought I was really honorable in the classes. And like from there, like I was listening to this song on Rihanna's Rated R album, and she just so coincidentally got out of her physical altercation with Chris Brown from the Grammys, and then she produced her album. And then that one song, I was just like, wow, I love the song so much. And in the song, if you listen to it, it just talks about how like, I wish I could burn you like how you burn me, so that you know what it feels like. Right. But then like I would have, I'm telling you this right now, I never thought that was gonna transpire into what it is now. Yeah. And even I remember reading a Vogue magazine that she was on. It was when she was a lot younger, and the album had came out. She said that she wished the song was a single, but it didn't make it to be a single. Right. And I was just like, wow, that's so crazy. At the time, I had just finished pledging my sorority. And
shout out to drop it. Go ahead, say who it is.
Shout out to Zeta Phi Beta Sorority Incorporated.
Shout out to y'all.
And during the time, my username on all social media platforms, it was my line name. It was Art of War Deuce. Yeah. And then I just decided to change it to FiyaBomb, but somebody took the actual word. So then I just decided to change mine into FiyaBomb. And then I just started like painting. Yeah. And I was like, wow, this is what happens.
Yeah. So like I think it's really important to touch on like how a negative situation kind of blossoms you, not in
Yep.
like not to reflect too much on the situation, but kind of like what came out of it. Like a lot of people like kind of even when they say like when a girl cuts her hair, you know some shit about to pop off. You know what I'm saying? Like it's like, bruh, I just changed my username to FiyaBomb. You about to see this fire. Fuck you talking about? You feel what I'm saying? So like shout out to that. But okay, so the start. What was the first painting? What was the first?
Immediately, like kind of shortly after that relationship, I actually fell into another one.
Okay.
And I ended up dating this guy. We ended up dating for about like 5 years.
Okay.
After our relationship ended, one of the things that I just told myself to do to keep myself busy was just to draw.
Mm-hmm.
And like I was working at a nail salon after I completed college, and I was just like, you know what, we had just broken up. And when we were like broken up, like, you know, like your thoughts and your feelings, they're so consumed on a different person where
Right.
you're not really focused on life. You're distracted.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to distract myself from not thinking about him, from not thinking how like he's not thinking about me, he's not calling me.
Yeah.
I like, you know, I wonder if he's out with some other girl.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just like, I don't want to think about that. So to really like kind of like get my mind somewhere else, Twitter was popping at the same time.
Sure was.
Instagram was popping. Like all these platforms was popping. So I'm just like, you know what? I'm just gonna draw all these celebrities, and like people gonna retweet it, and people gonna repost it, and you know I'm gonna be popular. And it was so crazy because at the time when I did it, it's almost like I wanted to gain his attention. Because I was just like, you know what, like
I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna show you. Yo, trust me, I've been there. I'm gonna show you.
And you know, so crazy. It's so crazy how it was like that for a long time, because like I was like really into this person. I was like in love with this person, and I really wanted him to like, you know, like kind of understand who he was missing out on. But then as I kept on like being focused on that, it grew so much into focusing on myself.
Right.
Like I was like, wow, how it just all transpired. People were retweeting my work, they were reposting my work, and they were just like celebrities were catching on to it too. And then it was, what's it called, I was working at a nail salon, and I had a follower from like Chicago like write me, and they were just like, hey Liv, Big Sean's having a contest. And I was just like, okay, he's looking for a graphic design artist, he's looking for visual artists to work on his new clothing that he's coming out with. He's coming out with his second album, Hall of Fame. And I was just like, okay, cool. And I was doing what I was doing at the time that I was really good at, which was drawing. So I was drawing a picture of him every single day, and I was tagging him, but I only had like 300 followers at the time, so I don't feel like he was seeing it. This is like 5 years ago, so this is like when he was dating Naya Rivera.
Okay.
From, did I say that right? Is that her last name? The girl from Glee.
Okay. Shout out to the girl from Glee. Okay.
And he was dating her at the time, and I was just like, you know, I was just trying to get his attention. And then I don't know like what it was, but I remember during this time of like just having like that breakup like consume me.
Right.
I remember like waking up, I had to go to work, and I was just like, I just like heard like this like voice, I swear, like that just said to me, I'm like, Livia, paint him and paint a massive painting of him.
Right.
And I was just like, oh, okay.
Okay, right.
But the thing is, I've never painted before, so I didn't know how to paint. And then I was just like,
that's crazy.
But I remember the only reason why I even thought that it could be a possibility was because I had a teacher, a professor at CCSU, that he saw the way that I drew, and he thought it was phenomenal. And I draw really fast.
Yeah.
So he was just like, if you know how to draw this way, he was just like, I know that you're really good at painting.
Right.
But I was just like, I wasn't even listening to him, because I was just like, I'm gonna stick to what I know, you know?
Yeah.
And so I went to the store, and this is back when Instagram was still 15-second videos. So like, I was reading a book that like really taught me like a lot of like kind of marketing techniques to put yourself out there in a very male dominant like kind of field. Industry. Where like, yeah, because even at the time, I don't even want to say like the male art is like a male dominant industry. I just wanted to say that it is not known or common that during the time that I did, that women were just putting themselves out there.
Right.
And like at the time I was just like, I was really quiet at CCSU. Like, I didn't really talk to anybody like that, and I didn't have a lot of friends. And like, I was just always known as a girl, like, oh, she walks around with her drawing board, or the Asian girl that walks around with her drawing board to the art department. And it helped because I had a roommate that was really popular. Okay. So they always knew as like, oh, your roommate. You so-and-so roommate. That's yeah, that's how I know you. So like, I went to the store, and on my Instagram, I was like broadcasting it so that people would like, I was like hyping it up by myself. I was like, hey guys, like, stick around if you want to see like what I end up doing. I'm gonna paint a really large piece of Big Sean, and it was grabbing people's attention because nobody was doing it at the time. So within 11 hours, I painted a massive piece of Big Sean, and like, I felt accomplished. I was just like, if he don't see this, in, honestly, I don't know. You know, like, okay, whatever. But I did it within 11 hour span, and like, people were just tagging him. They were tagging his barber. They were tagging his mom.
Whoever could get in contact with him.
They were tagging his they're just like, he needs to see this. He needs to see this. And at that point, I thought that was like one of the most effective marketing strategies, was that if I do something really massive or big, somewhere in America, this man's gonna know that there's like a 9 by 7 foot painting of him in someone's house. You know, and like, you know what I'm saying? Like, if someone did a painting of like that of me that big, I want to know where it's at,
and I want it.
Right. And if it's good, I want it. Right. So, I was hanging out with a girl, and you know, back then, this is like during the time where we live for that moment that somebody sees your photo and they likes it. Like, and I'm just like, okay, I'm just like living for that moment where it says like, Big Sean liked your photo. Or like, you know, whoever likes your photo, because then that just claims that you're like, you know, you
all hell. Right.
You did it, you know. So I was hanging out with a girlfriend at UHeart, and I had my notifications on at the time. And then I remember just like my phone, it was just like lighting up, and it was constant. And I was just like, and I thought somebody was calling me, but I looked at my phone and it wasn't. It was just like Instagram. And then I looked at my phone, and I just remember it saying, Big Sean liked your photo. Big Sean liked your video. Big Sean liked your. I was just like, oh my God. I was like, this. I remember the days. I was just like, oh my God, he was on my Instagram. Like,
he saw my page.
And I was like, wow. And I remember like, I was just like really like hype about it. And then from there, I was just like, to me, that was everything.
That was affirmation. That was it.
Yeah. So I was walking at the park, and then I got an email. And I got an email from his boy at the time, which was his assistant. And his boy was just like, hey, Liv, Big Sean and Kid Cudi are on a tour right now for Hall of Fame. And they're going to go to Mohegan Sun. We want to know, do you want front row tickets? And like, you can meet him and you can give him your painting. I was like, what the hell? And like, at the time, like, you know, and like, hold on. And I'm going to be honest. So like, I'm like, one, at that time, I wasn't a person that was like on the scene like that. I was just like, you know, kind of just doing me, still trying to grab my ex's attention and shit. And, you know, like, I was just like kind of lay low. Like, I wasn't in like the party scene, whatever. And I still scarcely, I'm not.
Right.
But like, when he said that, I was just like, oh, okay, cool. I'm going to Big Sean's concert. And I remember, so I actually did 2 paintings for him. 2 large, massive paintings. One was shipped to his home in LA, and then he had just bought his home. And then I did a second one where they allowed me to give it to him. They were giving me a hard time too about it in the casino, because the security, they're just like, that's not allowed in here, because like, you know, they're like really like, we don't know, there's a bomb inside. And I was just like, all right, cool, I get it. But his manager was really good about it. She came out and she got me. But his concert, like that, it was just like so motivational, because he was the first set, Kid Cudi was the second set, and like he was just saying how like he understood on all grounds on like what it takes to be like an entrepreneur, what it takes. Like, he was telling everybody, he was just like, I know what it feels like to like, you know, not have any money. He was like, I used to live in my girlfriend's basement and still work at the radio station before Kanye signed him. And I was just like, wow, like he was so vulnerable on stage, and I was just like, all right, cool. So one of the things, and I always, like, when they have me speak at, like, colleges and universities now, like, when I think about it, I always mention this, and I always tell everyone to pay attention to what I'm about to say. I remember when I did meet him, like, it was an amazing encounter. And I actually met him with Bria.
Okay, shout out to Bria Simone.
Yes, hi, Bria. I met him with Bria, and I remember he said something, and, like, I kind of felt, like, and now I applied it after. Like, so it wasn't something that I thought about right there and then. But I remember he asked me, he was just like, wow. He was like, so this is what you do? And I was just like, no. And then he was just like, what do you mean? And I was like, I work at a nail salon. And then he was just like, oh, I thought this is what you do though. And I'm just like, oh no, I work at a nail salon. And like in that moment, you know, things now when it registers a little bit more clearly, I think about how somebody that used to live in his girlfriend's basement, and even though he used to live in his girlfriend's basement and still work at the radio station and risked it all, and like, you know, every single day, sometimes he didn't have meals and all that. I think to myself how like I just kind of gave him the answer of what I settled for instead of what I love to do, just because it makes sense. You know, like I gave you the answer of what pays my bills instead of telling you what makes my heart beat. You know, So and I always tell people, I was just like, don't do that, because in a way I kind of just told a celebrity I sold myself short. Yeah.
And that's what I be trying to tell. There's a couple points I want to touch on while we have this break, but one thing I want to touch on like, so when people ask me like what I do, I never tell them my job, because I feel like I just tell people I just be like, that's my part time. That's to fund my purpose. That's why I say I'm like, my job is to fund my purpose. My job doesn't define me, because over there I have to be what they want me to be. Here I'm me. You know what I'm saying? So that I think that's a big key to take away, because a lot of people just feel like, especially like just talking to people in Connecticut, they just feel like they can't make it out. And I'm like, the reason why you can't make it out is because you just have to switch your mindset. Instead of taking what Connecticut gives you, you give Connecticut what you want.
Yeah.
Or not even Connecticut, just give wherever what you want.
Oh my God. This just even your response is giving me a lot of energy, because I was just talking to one of my clients yesterday that I was teaching a private lesson to, and like I was like we were saying to each other how like you shouldn't like ever at all, you should not ask people what they do. Because the thing is, they use that answer that you give them to judge you on how much respect I should give you. Even when like I walk into a room, right? I remember like when I did first quit my job, and I was like really kind of scared to tell people I'm an artist, because I already know what they're gonna think. They're gonna think I'm a bullshit artist, or they're gonna think I don't make any money. But then now, like you know, with that mindset that I have, or just the confidence that I have in my work and in what I do, like I can walk into a room and I know that maybe 9 out of like 10 people in the room got a regular job, maybe like a more traditional job. Let me say that. A more old-fashioned traditional job. And if I walk in there, I know that I work for myself. You know, and then I know that I already know what they're going to think. But then it's like, it's a whole different mindset once they see my work. Or once they see like the other platforms that I've reached, and then they're just like, oh, wow, like you're like one of those artists.
Yo, it's crazy the reaction, like you say, the reaction you get when like you just be out and you be like, oh, they be like, what you doing? You be like, oh, I'm doing this. And then they be like, oh, whatever. And then they follow you and they be like, oh, shit.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like, why does it have to take all that? Like, why can't you just just respect that I told you what I do?
Oh, my God.
Just embrace that. Like,
and then, because to be honest with you, right, where I'm at right now, right, on Instagram, I have 28.2 thousand followers. There was a time where I had 300, right? But we take the number of the amount of followers that somebody has, and we validate their importance. We validate their stature. And the crazy thing is, I know somebody right now. I know somebody that got 2 million followers, and she does nothing with it, and she's broke. And then I know somebody that got 600 followers.
That does everything with it.
And he makes like ridiculous money, where I'm just like, oh, like you're a low key like billionaire, and like you got somebody over here where like clout is like to her head, you know? Like I'm just like, okay, you're not. And with stuff like that, I do get like kind of like iffy about it, just because like you have a platform and you don't use it intelligently. You don't use it effectively to inspire people. You don't use it to reach people. You use it to promote fit tea. Like that I'm just like, oh my God.
But you know what? And I'll have this conversation too. It all boils down to what you're in it for, right? Like some people, they see Cardi B did it, they see this, that, and third, and they be like, oh, I could be that. But they don't understand that Cardi B's vision is bigger than what you see. So you might have been like, so a lot of people are like, oh, I strip, so I could be a rapper. No. Cardi B just did what she had to do to survive, to get to her purpose.
To where she, exactly. And she talks about it all the time. I honestly, hands down, I love her story so much. And even I was following her before she became a rapper, a little bit before she was on Love and Hip Hop. And like I like, you know, at first like she comes off as a very strong-minded,
Yeah.
like raunchy mouth, like like female. Where I was just like, at first I was like, oh my God, I don't know if I could take all of this,
Yeah.
But at the same time, I'm just like, I do like it though because she does not care. Yeah, and I like that she owns her life. She
Right.
doesn't. She doesn't go off, and she's not highly influenced by anything
Right.
around her.
Right.
And I'm just like, okay. And then when I found out that she was gonna be on Love and Hip Hop, I was just like, wow. Like at first I was just like, okay, well, good for her. They make like what 5,000, 6,000 episodes. So like
good, bread, yeah.
good for you. And then on top of that, like and she was like doing like what is it like when they host parties, she was getting money like that. And like she was and slowly like what she was doing too is she was posting videos on how to just like tell women this is how you're gonna get yours. Like I'm here and I just got a home. I just got a really nice apartment in New Jersey, and she was showing everybody, and I was just like, wow, this is amazing.
Right.
And then when she came out, and I'm not gonna even lie, like when she first came out with
Bodak Yellow.
Bodak Yellow, it was another song before that. I think it's called Forever or something like that.
Okay. I'm not too familiar, to be honest.
It was like kind of like a mediocre song, but at the same time, it was catchy.
Right.
It was just like, wow, this is catchy. Mm-hmm. When she came out with Bodak Yellow,
you was like, "It's here."
Well, first time. Well, hold on. When she came out with Bodak Yellow, I was just like, this is like a really, really low engineered song.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I'm just like, wow, this is really good, Cardi. Like, it's not that bad. Like, but it's like a really like, come on, like, the production could have been a little bit better. But then to see it like prosper, I was just like, wow, like now. And then on top of that, so I remember I saw on social media, it was like a meme or something like that she quit Love and Hip Hop. She quit Love and Hip Hop, and she just signed to Atlantic. And then she was just like, I was like, wow. The thing about it is that in her journey, and she shows it to everybody, is that she doesn't stay in one place. Right. She's just like, okay, this is where I was, and then now I'm on Love and Hip Hop, and then now I'm in the reunions and all that, throwing shoes or whatever, and then now I'm a rapper. Right. And then from there, not only am I a rapper that people, now I got married to Offset, like I got a good husband.
I got a child.
Right.
I'm a mom now.
I got a child, and I still did it while I was pregnant, and I got a child. Right. And then on top of that, she was doing endorsements, she was doing commercials, she did a Super Bowl commercial, and then on top of that, to be the first female rapper to get a Grammy. That's fire. In a category where it was just all men.
We're gonna definitely have a fire emoji or drop a bomb for that specifically that you just said, because it is like, if you just, she's really like a true story of like really getting it out the mud and getting to it and not caring what no one else thought about her. And I think for me, like, and this is a question I think I could ask you as well, like, how do you feel about being vulnerable? Because there's sometimes I see that you're very vulnerable, like whether it's like, I remember you had posted it, and I ain't gonna fart. I got my feelings for this one. So,
it's okay.
No. So, you had posted a picture. It was about like your dream man. Like it was like you were like on a search for the dream guy, and you had posted an image, and you were just like, you would post like your progress, but you would always post like what you thought while you were drawing it, or like is this the dream guy? Like, what if this is not? And I'm just like, damn, like, you're being super vulnerable at a precious point in your career, but then also like with your art. Like, how do you feel about portraying that to people? Because some people, like myself, I'll be honest, I don't like showing people like that side of me, because I'm an emotional person. So like, I don't want to show you something and you try to use it against me, because then I'm going to feel crazy. But for you, like, how do you do that?
I know exactly how you feel, because the thing is, it's just like a door.
Right.
Because once you tell people how you feel, it's like a door. I just open the door for you to come in and use it against me, or make fun of me, or hold it over my head one day, years down the road or whatever. But I take it as, and it's something that like we just got off of, like Cardi B. I take it as anything that I post on my Instagram, and anything that that does come off like very like deep, like that you're like, yo, I can't believe she just shared that, is that it's just one, it's vulnerable, but all you have to do is own it. And once you own it, nobody can ever use it against you. Because the thing is, so let's just say you own it. I like let's just say like I own the fact that one day I try to kill myself. You cannot tell me that there's several people out there that didn't try to do the same. Right. So what? Now you're making fun of me and all the other people? Right. But the thing is, when one thing too was that I remember the day I decided to be like that. I remember the day that, you know what, I'm gonna share a lot of myself with so many people, and I know for a fact if I do this, it's gonna touch people. It's gonna relate to them, and people are gonna understand and know that, you know what, she's doing this so that people know that you're not by yourself.
Right.
People like to front. That I'm not gonna even lie. People like to fucking front. Like they like to like front. Like I have my life together,
Right.
and like I'm doing this, I'm doing that. They never show failure.
Right.
And the thing is, I feel like it's so important to do so. It's so important to know people's flaws. It's so important to know what they struggle, because you can't skip struggle.
Right.
But people are just like, oh yeah, I made it here, I made it there. Like, but the thing is, like, you have to tell people in those dark times that you have, is just like, I was incapable. One time, I fell down the hole. I didn't think I could get back up, and I just wanted to bury myself there. Like, you want to tell people that, like, it gets to that point where I get lonely. I get lonely. I think about my love life. I do.
Yeah.
But then at the same time, like, I'm focused in a different area of my life where I want to prosper too, and hopefully maybe I'll meet somebody like up there. But then if I don't, I think about that too. Like, what happened if I don't? But at the same time, I think about the bigger picture, the bigger painting. The bigger painting is, like, you're put on this earth for a reason to like reach people in the ways that you're supposed to. Like, it's not supposed to, like, and sometimes we like forget that. We forget that because you know why? We forget that because we see so much of the stuff that is on Instagram where we're just like, oh, so-and-so, many of so-and-so just got married. How come I'm not married yet? Or all these other people just got a house. How come I didn't get a house yet? Or all these other people got their dream job. How come I didn't get promoted yet?
Right.
Like, you can't think of that.
Right.
Like, it is going to sound really selfish, but you have to, like, focus on yourself so much where it's like, remain low key. Don't let too many people in. Let people in who support you. Let people in who love you, who accept you for who you are, and really work to get to where you need to be. Stop focusing on the stuff that don't matter, because these people don't think about you.
Right.
Like, these people don't think about you, and they don't pay your fucking bills.
And you know what's crazy for me? It took me a long time to understand that, because I'm a person that I really love people. I care people. So like, if I do something, someone like, I ain't like that, even if I don't even know you, I still think like, damn, why don't you like it? Like, did it not touch you? Like, and I had to realize, like, yo, like, as much people they say they're your friends, as much people they say they care about you, as much people they say they support you, you have to understand that sometimes that shit's just a lie. Like, no matter how genuine you are to certain people, that shit is not true. And you have to block it out, because at the end of the day, if your purpose is true and it is intentional, no matter what anyone says, you're gonna get to your goal.
Yep, I agree with that 1000%.
Seriously,
because there's a lot of people that are gonna say that. I get so many people every single day, right? And the thing is, it's become more known to me. I think about like a year ago, where like they're just like, oh, Liv, this is like, if I post a painting, they're just like, this is my favorite one yet, and I'm here just like, really?
Yeah.
Out of like the 800 pieces or 8,000 pieces I've ever done, this is your favorite one yet, right?
Right.
Or they'll say stuff like, oh my God, I just want to let you know I'm your biggest fan, whatever, and then you unfollow me. But then I see you follow me back. Yeah. Like, I take notes of the things like that, but I'm just like, it's not like stuff like where I make it out to be a big deal. I'm just like, oh, this person followed me again. And I'm just like, well, whatever.
You know
like,
what? But it just even touch on that. I have a devil's advocate perspective, right? I feel like in our community, in our environment, I feel we're not taught to love. And I mean, at the end of the day, like, we all go through our shit, but so I feel like when people do stuff like unfollow you to follow you back, or they might sub and like it's kind of geared towards you, but you don't really take heed to it, I really feel like they're just trying to let you know, yo, I feel something, and granted, it's not your responsibility to reach out and be like, yo, what's good with you? But just know that you inspire me enough that I said something, that I feel some type of way that I can't say it to you. Yeah. I can't be like, yo, Liv, like,
I like that.
You feel me? Like, Liv, like, I appreciate you. You inspire me so much, but you don't show me any attention, or you don't like my pictures, or you don't report, or people just don't know how to just say, yo, this is how I feel. Take it and let's build it here. So rather than do that, they'll unfollow you and follow you back, or
Justin, I really, really like that a lot. And I feel like from that, I just felt enlightened, because I'm not going to lie. Like, I'm the type of person where, like, let's just say if this person unfollowed me, they followed me back, but I was still following them. I hit the unfollow button. Like, I was like, all right, bet.
Yeah.
But then now you still follow me.
Yeah.
But then I'm here, I'm just like, my page it has not been private in like so long, where I'm just like, you're going to see the work anyway.
Yeah.
But then now I feel like you saying that, I'm just like that is something that I can, like, okay, you know what? I like that. Right. Because sometimes people don't know how to say or speak their emotions. This is just how the best way that I could do it. Just like you did something that was incredible, I had to follow you again.
Right.
Cool.
And you know, like, man, I'm just trying to reformulate my mindset because I was really in like a dark place at a couple of times. Like, you know, especially like after like, you know, my last breakup and stuff like that. Like, that's a very vulnerable part for myself. I don't even talk really too much about it just because there's still things that I haven't really fully digested for myself. But like, I just really had to figure out what my purpose was. And once I figured out what my purpose was, I just had to gauge everything that I thought was negative and repurpose it in a positive way. So like, I don't fucking know. When I graduated from college, I didn't get the dream job that I wanted. I didn't have the dream car and all that stuff. But in my head, I'm like, I can't think like that because reality is that's not the dream job I wanted. That was the dream job that my mom wanted for me. And if I went that route, maybe what if I would have resented my mom because I would have did that for her, but not really what I want to do, which is this right here.
Yeah.
I would much rather go through the struggle. So I always try to just find like a deeper purpose of things because it just helps me better because I really feel like I think like out of here. Like, and which I think all creative do is but I think my brain just stays there. Like, it don't really. I always think like above and beyond, so I have to match my energy with that. So if I think negatively, it's gonna think that negatively. So I just be like, yo, rather than think that, I'm gonna just think positively at all times. And
Good. Just like how you just fed me that, and now I'm gonna think that every single time when somebody follows me, it's like,
she's still gonna follow you though. But
right
it's like
now that right, what's it called? Like I got some juice that you can't stay away from. So okay.
So can I ask you like, how does it feel to be? Because I'm gonna be honest with you, in Connecticut, you're really like a legend out here. Like,
Thank you.
And I don't know if you feel it. I hope you do, but like, you know, you have a bunch of support out here. You know, like I feel like you're definitely like a role model for certain people because you're a living proof that you can get it right out of Connecticut. Like, you just have to grind, and you might have to leave for a little bit. Like, I remember you took the drive. We're gonna talk about all that, but I remember you took the drive to Atlanta, correct?
Yes.
And you were living out there for a little bit, but you came back. So, while you were doing that, you showed your journey at all times. You already showed like, yo, like no matter where I'm at, it's still Connecticut. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, being an inspiration to people, being a role model to people, what's some advice you could give people like, yo, like that really feel like that have the 300 followers and that lives in, I don't know, some part of Connecticut, like, yo, no one makes it out of Connecticut. What's something that you would tell them?
I get asked this question like several times, and I feel like when I do give this answer, like it just sounds too cliche. So like I feel like I always try to find like creative ways to answer this question, and it's just like one, like consistency. It goes like it will always be the result of why people will respect you. Like, and I'm gonna give a really good example. I mean, I do art, but I'm gonna give a really good example. Let's talk about somebody that's like 400 pounds, and they just want to lose weight, and they go to the gym. So they go to the gym, but they lose only a little bit of weight. Okay, now you see a little bit of results. Maybe they drop like 50 pounds, and you can see like, yeah, I'm getting slimmer, but I'm still 350 pounds. And then now they change their diet. They change their diet and they go to the gym. And now let's just say they're like 250 pounds. That's 150 pounds less than that's like a whole person, so they look really different. And the thing about it is that when you put consistency in like a area that you are passionate about or that you like focus on, people have no choice but to respect you. Because the thing is, there was a time where my artwork was only $50. And that's like, I was like, what, 21? I'm 29 years old now. Like, I was 21. My artwork was only $50. And at that time, people thought $50 was a lot, And I'm not going to even lie, but that artwork, now when I look at it, it was a joke. I was just like, oh, I wasn't even trying, Like, I wasn't trying as hard as I do now. And I wasn't working as hard as I do now. Like, pieces like that used to take like, what, an hour? Like, the artwork that I produce now takes like 24 hours to produce. And that's one sitting. That's me sitting in one spot doing that. Drinking coffee, playing music, having like a sleeping bag on the floor, having food to the side. I prepare mentally for those times where I produce an art piece.
Let's talk about that. Let's talk about the mental preparation, because not to even cut you off, but that just touched me because a lot of people feel like, yo, I'm gonna just go into the booth, make one song, and I'm about to be on. Let's talk about how you really, as you progress, like clout wise or influential wise that you also have to work wise. Let's talk about it. Like, how do you get yourself gauged and ready for, like, you know?
Well, okay, so one of the things that I really do want to touch base on is because of like somebody I used to be and somebody who I am now. When I first came out as an artist, I used to do a lot of things that the artists were doing now, and I like to call them amateur artists. Okay. So I like to call them beginner artists. Amateur. That's the word. That's what the word means. So I was doing a lot of celebrity work to get clout, like, you know, to get popular, to get like a following, or just to practice skill. I was just computerizing something I saw on like a photo and then just bring it to canvas, you know? And it was easy. That was easy. It's so easy to copy. Right. It's a lot harder to produce what really mentally comes to your mind. So when, you know, people were like paying attention to that, they're just like, yo, FiyaBomb's amazing. Like, you know, she's great or whatever. And then, you know what? I had a lot of people right behind me doing the same thing. And then now when it's like that, there's competition, right. And it's a lot of guys. Yeah. There's like a couple girls, a lot more guys, and I'm here just like, they're doing what I do. So they're doing what I do. How do I stand out? Right. How am I different? Like, Olivia, how are you different? So then I was just like, you know what? And during this time, there was a lot of things that I was paying attention to that I've never paid attention to before, like racial injustice, like feminism, like things that I would question where, like, I would question it like internally, but I would never vocalize it. And then I'm here just like, you know, okay, now I'm going to channel like my work into something that matters. Because I'm not saying that these celebrities don't matter, but like, you know, like you hit me up, you want a portrait of yourself, it's pretty vain. That's why I'm just like, okay. But then like now I'm here, I want to channel things into like emotions and messages and heartbreak and depression and suicidal awareness. And then like people now, they relate to it. Right. So now when they relate to it, they go tell their aunt, their friends, their brothers, their barbers, whoever. They're just like, yo, go follow her because like you was just feeling this the other day.
And she can relate to you. And
right.
you can relate to her.
Right. So now the work has become so much deeper. But then because now it has become so much deeper, it requires more time. It requires different materials. It requires a different you. And I'm going to talk about that too. So now the work that I was producing back then, it was easy. It was just a person. It was a person in a cubicle, right there. It was easy. Right. And then now, the person that I am right now, I'm in a laboratory. Like, it's like, okay, when I go and I know that I'm gonna create like a meaningful piece. One, I have to be inspired. This is just like what musicians go through. I have to be really inspired by something. And it'll be a quote. It'll be music. It'll be something I've seen in the sky. It'll be something that's going on TV right now that we just saw in the media. It has to really touch me. Right? Yeah. So I'm just like, okay, so this is about to happen. I pray about it too. Right before I make a piece, I always ask God, like, God, give me the strength to like really endure and sit through this piece right now and make sure that it's going to be like miraculous, or make sure that it's going to touch like people in a way that, like, you know, that it's touching me right now. And I know for a fact, I always have faith that he'll always help me execute it. So then from there, I go and I get my new materials. And now all my new materials are extremely expensive. The canvases, the paintbrushes. Paintbrushes alone cost like $14, $28. One brush. And then like my tubes of paint are like $48 each. Yeah, for a color. But then the thing with artists is that we know how to blend colors so well that we don't need so many colors. Yeah. I go and I grab that. If I know I'm pulling an all-nighter, I'll tell myself, all right, 9 o'clock is when you begin. 9 o'clock is when you begin. You will stop at 8 a.m. Like, you know, that's like a whole, like, that's a shift.
That's a shift, yeah.
And then from there, and if I want to go past 8 a.m., now you're going past a whole entire half a day. Right. I go and I get food. And, like, the food that I get, I'll get, like, really, like, snacky food. I'll get chips. I'll get cheese and crackers. I'll get heavy soda water. Right. No, yeah. It's like just like nibbles and bites and all that. And even when it's there, I'm not even eating at it, because when I produce work, I don't stop. I don't even like taking breaks. From there, I go get coffee. I get a Red Bull. And then I have like a pillow and a blanket like to the side of me. And I always paint on the floor, because the thing is, I'm just like, okay, just sit back, relax, like, you know, stretch or something like that, because you've been sitting like that for a long time. Okay, now are you ready? You're ready? Okay, now go back to work. Like, it's just, and then from there, I'll take progress pictures and I'll do like little teasers like today. Yes. Like, and people are just like, you know, just like, oh my God, I can't believe it. And then from there, I'm just like, okay, just so that they know it's in the works. But then now even like when I plan to like post it, it's strategic too.
Right.
I post at a certain time. I post like, okay, I know people are like seeing it right now. Even when like a good example was when Nipsey died, I saw so many people use that platform to like so many artists. They were just like, okay, I'm gonna do this right now. I'm gonna do this right now because like I know he died. I know everyone's gonna look at the paintings, and I can tell there's a lot of artists that I follow. So like normally I feel like in your category of where you're passionate about, you're gonna follow that field.
Mm-hmm.
So let's just say you do this.
Right.
What's it called? I'm pretty sure you follow Breakfast Club.
Right.
I'm pretty sure you follow
shout to It's the Real. I follow y'all my niggas. Shout to Rap Radar. I follow y'all my niggas.
See, you probably follow like Gary V. You probably follow.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of other people that are motivational speaking and all that. Mm-hmm. People that are engaging in deep conversations. Mm-hmm. So I follow a lot of other visual artists, graphic designers, people that do art, and I can tell that people they were just producing work just to do it. And you know what? And you know what? When I was looking at it, I was just like, oh my God. Like, you're like every single one too. Because the thing is, only an artist can tell another artist's work. It's like, I can tell when you didn't put no effort into it. You just did this for the likes. You did this for the post.
No matter how good it looks, you could just tell that.
I can tell. Like, like with artists and even other artists, they can tell where I messed up on a painting. They can tell where I had to paint it over. Like, like we're really intricate about shit like that. So like when I see other artists, like they post things like that, I'm just like, yo, like you kind of just sold out for a minute. Like, I don't blame you, but you kind of sold out for a minute. I went to the Nipsey tribute in Hartford.
Shout out to Corey Penn.
And oh my God, phenomenal. Corey, you did such an amazing job. For sure. Your work, your line work is immaculate. I love it so much. And thank you for doing that for Hartford. For sure. One of the other things during that time that I saw people that were doing, they were handing out promotional club flyers. They were promoting parties.
At this spot?
Hell yeah. I was like, me and Ant were sitting right next to each other. Me and Ant was like, oh my God, is this happening?
Yo, see, I'm not about to get mad.
Hold on. Okay. They were shooting music videos, like, because there's a lot of people that are going to be there. So when are you ever going to have a lot of people being there? And then I saw this kid. I'm not sure. I didn't listen to his music. I don't know if it's good. But he was just like, anybody want to be in the video? Everybody left. Just because they didn't want to be in his video. But I'm just like, you're doing it for the wrong reason. So, and a lot of people were asking me. They're just like, Liv, are you doing a Nipsey piece? And at first I wasn't. Right. And at first, I wasn't. I was just going to take my time. And I was going to take my time even after his public funeral. Right. I was just like, I'm just going to take my time. And I'm going to be so dead on honest with it. So I started listening to Nipsey probably a year ago. But I know he's been out for like a long time. Right. There you go. But I've been listening. I started listening to him. And I'm an honest person. So I only know a couple of songs. Right. But then, like, watching his interviews and watching his engagement with his community and all that, it taught me a valuable lesson. It taught me that I should listen more and I should be more conscious and I should be more like awake to listening to new artists that are out or that are not like, mainstream like that. He wasn't mainstream like that at the time. And then I feel bad because it came up to the surface when he was just like hitting a surface where I'm just like, when he was at the Grammys and he was nominated, I was like, whoa, Nipsey took Lauren out. I was like, that's what's up. Like, I was happy. And then he was so happy for Cardi's win too. And I was so happy about that. But that in particular, even like the Nipsey piece, like, sorry, going back to this, is like, I plan things out at a certain time and a certain like date. And then I know what is going to grab to people. When people, and I'm not shading any of the artists out there that did this, okay? But you know who you are, and then the other people, why you do it for why you do it. Right. But there were artists that were painting Nipsey, and it was just like, you just painted Nipsey. That's how I felt, Yeah. But then there was other artists that, like, they were getting really in touch with it, in tune with it. Like, I know I have a particular style. Corey has a whole particular style. The fact that Corey just did that in Hartford and Connecticut, like, we East Side. Right. Like, we're East Side. Like, like, nobody ever hears about Connecticut. But you just reached a platform where it hit all of New England. Right. You know what I'm saying?
And he was like, I think he was on the Shade Room and other platforms. I think Big U.
He was on World Star. He was on World Star. He was on the news. Right. Good shit for that, Corey. Good job. But like just stuff like that. Like when I was just seeing people like kind of paint a regular portrait, but I can tell that they half-assed it.
Right.
Where I'm just like, oh my God, like you're not sticking to what you normally do. It's almost like walking into a nail salon saying, I want like the nails that Cardi got, but then you went and you just gave them like you just painted them one color.
Yeah.
Like you half-assed it.
Right.
Like I don't respect stuff like that.
I just got to touch on this subject because this is a very touchy subject for me. Like, if you were a true Nipsey fan, it don't matter when you became a Nipsey fan. You could have became a Nipsey fan last week, but if you really resonated with his message and what he believed in and who the type of person he was, don't be out here just doing some fuck shit.
Yeah.
With his name attached to it. Like, I don't understand. And it's like shout out to Dason.
Oh yeah, I saw him
Instagram,
there.
Ben Millie. He's the one that put the visual down together.
Yeah. I thought that was awesome.
I had to reach out to him like, yo, bro, I can't make it, but like dope shit. One thing I would say though is I know for a fact there were people in that crowd, like you said, that were just there because it was there. Like some of you guys never listened to his music. Some of you guys probably never listened to interview. And that's not to slight you. That's just to say, yo, go do your research. Go do your knowledge. You see all these people that's truly mourning for this man. And you're deciding to just jump on the wave and take a picture in front of him. That's not cool. Like,
I was there and I was sitting right next to Aunt.
Yeah. Shout out to Aunt Valentine. That's my
yes. Hi Aunt.
Hey Aunt.
I was sitting right next to Aunt and I believe it was NBC. NBC came down and they were shooting it. So they were shooting like this tribute and then like Aunt decided to ask the camera guy. He was just like, yo, you listen to Nipsey? And then he was just like, no. And he was like, you should. The music's really good. And I when I backed him up, I'm like, you really should. It's really good. Like it has a lot of meaningful messages in it. And then he was just like, all right. He was like, I will. And I was just like, okay.
You know what too? It's like you don't have to be a gangbanger. You don't have to come from that life. He talked about so much more than that.
My God.
He talked about investments, equity. He talked about believing in yourself. He talked about really.
He talked about eating holistically. He talked about like everything that's like good for you.
And it's just like, I just like, please, man, just don't do that because there's really people out there like myself who really looked at him as a role model icon, and for the masses of people that do appreciate and love this man, that's what's up. For the people who are just getting knowledge, getting informed about who he is, that's what's up. For the people who are just out here just doing it to do it, like just understand that you're hurting so much more people, like just by doing some fuck shit. There's a dude that went on IG story, and RP Zoe, like Gangstalicious, he's like,
I never got a chance to meet him.
He was such a great ball of energy. I tweeted, I said, yo, we should do a mural for him too, just because of everything that he represented and what he brought to the CT culture. I think is respected. You know what I'm saying? But there was someone that went on IG was like, man, fuck the mural, fuck this. Nipsey not even from here, like da da. And we should put RPs over. And I'm like, that's such a crazy mindset to have because
it's a closed-minded mindset to have.
Because at the end of the day, it's not about where he been. It's about the people he inspired.
Yeah, and he reached.
Exactly.
He reached millions of people.
You feel
like I don't, and I'm not gonna talk about Zoe because I didn't know Zoe, but he's actually one of my really good friends. Right. Jacob Rochester.
Yes.
Jacob.
Shout out to Jacob Rochester.
Yeah, Jacob, I love you. But and I'm not like shading him. It's just like I feel like you cannot compare.
Right.
You can't compare the two.
Right.
But the thing is, if you do want a mural of Zoe, you just put a mural of Zoe right next to Nipsey.
Exactly.
Like it's not that big of a deal. You just that's when you single people out, and when you single people out, that's how you're letting them know that the other person was like a threat or something like that.
Right,
you don't do that.
Right.
Like you unite. You don't divide.
You're right.
Like,
and I think, like, even though he was saying it from a very selfish and a very
he's
closed-minded space, I understood because Nipsey might not have resonated with him, but Zoe did. So like to us, we like, bro, you wildin', but to him, he like, no, y'all wildin'. So that's why I was talking about like the mindset. Like I just stepped into his shoes for a second.
You know what? You're absolutely right. Because I actually have a meme. It's in my phone. I can show it to you. But I follow this amazing. She's a Christian motivational speaker. Her name is Dana Chanel. Okay. And she actually tweeted this meme that says, you have a Nipsey in your town that you don't support and you don't even know it.
Mm.
And like, but like, and you need to take this man's death and support the Nipseys in your town. And like, yeah.
Man, so I mean, just based up, he always inspired me. Always that I have my own initiatives that I want to, for me, because like I always talk about Rejuv'Nation being like a bigger platform. Like the podcast is just a way for me to connect with people like yourself, and we just sit here and talk about some real shit. Like I feel like this conversation was like just filled with like some raw shit that somebody is going to resonate with, and there's so much other things that bro, let's all stick together, man. Let's all just do this together. Like it's really not that hard. This ego shit gotta go, because at the end of the day, none of us made it. None of us really got to the level. None of us got to a point where we could be like, yo, mom retire, pops come on a cruise.
Yeah.
Yo, my kids got. No one's there yet. So until we get there, it's much better to do it in numbers than do it by yourself. You know what I'm saying? FiyaBomb, I love you. I appreciate you, man.
Thank you.
Like every time, like one thing I do want to say before we end this episode though is I remember the last episode we had. I actually watched it a couple days ago, and I can see the difference in you. Like it's just like I'm out here. You feel me? One thing I want to touch on before we leave though is the whole eating thing. I want to touch base on that. Like throughout the whole me following you and catching up and seeing your journey, I think that was one thing that was very pivotal. Like I remember seeing you wake up and like, yo, all right guys, this is what I'm making for breakfast. You put out the ingredients, you made it. How's that regimen going for you? How does it articulate with your life? Like
nutrition is a lot, is like 90% of your life, and like it's really kind of like it's easy what I'm gonna say. When you eat bad shit, you feel like shit.
right.
When you eat the good stuff, you're gonna feel good about yourself.
Right.
And the good stuff is like you might think it's like all this junk food or not, and it's just not. It's gonna make you feel heavy. It's gonna make you feel like it's gonna make you feel bad about yourself. You're poor about yourself. Your skin's gonna break out. Like your skin's flabby, it's not tight and all that. And you need to drink a lot of water, eat a lot of vegetables, eat the good protein for your body, and like everything, like you'll feel yourself be so light. I have my days like where I eat bad and all that, and I try to like treat myself in the things I shouldn't eat. But majority of my days, I try to make sure that I have like a good diet, because the thing is, the good diet, it always affects how I feel about myself and how I treat others too. Because when I feel awful about myself, I treat people like shit. But then when I feel really good about myself, it's so easy for me to uplift people, and it's all of what you put into your body.
I'm not gonna lie to you. I've been going to the gym consistently for about a year and a half now.
Good for you.
Yeah, but I'm not gonna lie. The passing of Nipsey, I just lost like a lot of motivation in like certain aspects. Like it was like I had a couple issues. Like I had to figure out, one, why am I so attached to this man that I don't know as another grown man? But then two, like, what does that mean? Like how do I? So I had to just really take some time to just like get my mind right. And I feel like shit because I haven't been to the gym in a week and a half. I'm going to the gym first thing tomorrow morning.
Good.
And we got because I just feel so.
Good.
I feel so much better. Like shout out to Smooth Haynes. Like he's really a big like him. He's a big inspiration of mine. I want to shout out 12 rounds, my nigga. I see you doing the 30-day challenge that you put. I think that's beautiful. Like that's someone that you talking about that was like 400 and he dropped down. I think he's like 255 now. He's trying to get at 250. He looks immaculate, and not only that, he's inspired other people to do it now. So he's posting other people posting their 30-day challenge. The shit is beautiful to see. And but I'm gonna say all this to say, bruh, the homework assignment that I have for everyone for this episode is let's come together, yo.
Yeah.
If you see someone out here that's doing something and you feel some type of way, reach out. Tell them how you feel. Like don't go on Twitter or Instagram and shade them or sub them. Reach out as an adult and be like, yo, because at the end of the day, in this creative industry, as big as it seems, it's very small. So the moment that you bump shoulders with the wrong person or you make someone feel some type of way, you never know what that could do. And you never know how much people you're inspiring. How, like you said, you were drawing pictures and everyone's following suit. Brother, you're leading a bunch of people. Make sure they see the things that are supposed to be done the right way. Don't do no bullshit.
Yeah.
So FiyaBomb, do you have any closing remarks before you get out of here?
I do.
Drop it.
I just want to let people know, like, don't listen to anybody when it comes to like the beautiful things that you're thinking inside of your head. Like, when you have a amazing idea that's inside of your head and you feel like you can't do something, like, and you feel stressed out because you feel like no one's going to support you, the only reason why you feel like that is because the thought inside of you, your intentions inside of you is waiting for your mind to act on it. Like,
that just touched me.
Yeah. Like,
No.
like
Wow.
you know what I'm saying? Like, the only reason why you feel uncomfortable is because, like, it's almost like your mind is like, okay, you have the idea. I'm giving you the idea, but you're not acting on it. So, like, that's why you feel stressed out. And then once you act on it, you feel released.
Man. Yo, you just really touched my soul. Cause I'm not, I just been in a place where I'm like, yo, damn, I'm not doing enough. I'm not doing this. I'm not doing that. And it's just because my brain shoots out thoughts 24/7. And it's like, bro, I cannot conquer all this. And I started to like feel crazy. And it's, bro, that's it right there. So, please, social media handle so people can follow you.
You can follow me on Instagram. I'm more active on there. It's at FiyaBomb, at FiyaBomb. You can look me up on Facebook, Olivia Nguyen. You can look me on Twitter, same thing as my Instagram tag, and you could Google me if anything.
So you heard that? Google me. So with that, it's your boy Thomas Trail. You're tuned to the RejuvNation Podcast. We appreciate all the feedback we've been getting. We love it. If you have anything that you want, that you suggest, drop it in the comments because we do actively pay attention. Liv, I want to thank you for especially short notice because I just hit you like, yo, you trying to do an interview? It was like, yeah, all right. So cool. Thank you for stopping by. I really appreciate the conversation. I hope we can have more of this down the line in the future.
Thank you.
And we're out.
Thank you for having me.